December meeting of the Greensboro Minimum Housing Standards Commission meeting at 13:35. Begin with the approval of minutes from the November 19th meeting.
Second.
That motion has been moved by Commissioner Furlow and seconded by Commissioner Seafood. All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously for the approval of minutes. Is there a request of staff for any changes to the agenda at this time?
Yes, sir. There's the appeal of notice of violations for the 2 Elm Street properties. We will not be hearing those today because there was an issue with the notice of violation. They will be heard most likely at the January or February meeting. But today we are not prepared, or we don't have the correct information for that. And number 9, 118 East McCullough is now in compliance, so we will not be hearing that either.
Very well. Based on staff recommendation, items 6 and 7 be stricken from today's agenda, and item number 9 is now officially in compliance. Thank you. Now on to swearing in city staff to testify.
Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give in the following case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please proceed.
And now the swearing in of owners, citizens, and others testimony. And are there any owners, citizens, residents, or others in attendance? That is a no. Now on to the public comment period. Note, the Housing Commission is a quasi-judicial board. Therefore, speakers may only address in general the minimum housing standards or affordable housing in Greensboro. Speakers may not address any property that is currently under investigation or may be under investigation. Speakers who attempt to discuss a specific property other than as allowed above will be asked to end their comments. Each speaker is given 3 minutes. Staff will provide the speaker with a 10-second warning before the time expires, and then the mic will be turned off. Are there any speakers at this time? If so, the floor is yours. But before you do that, as a bit of housekeeping, I would ask that everyone in the space please either mute your dialer, your tone for your cell phones, or put them on vibrate so that it does not upset the meeting, please. Thank you. Proceed, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Great to see all of you, even on this side of the journey. I want to say thank you to all of you that I got the pleasure of serving with, some for several years, some for a short period of time. It was a pleasure. I wanted to remind you all and urge you to keep in mind some of the cases that were posed before us, and to make sure that we not lose sight on what this commission is supposed to do. As of December 9th, there are still 381 active housing cases per city staff. 69 of those are from multi-family homes. Still a large amount, probably a lot more out there, given from other city council meetings and other residents that keep coming forward. And I think the great thing about what's kind of happened over the last couple of months with this commission is it's gotten interest in the city, in housing, in this commission again, as we have more people here than we've had in the past, even have the mayor here. So we've gotten attention. So I think that's a good thing. And I think it's a good thing that we're trying to do what's best for the residents in this city. I also want to point out, as a reminder, as what was last shared, that the Howard Johnson incident is supposed to be coming before this commission. Make sure that that actually happens. The first process was the legal process, but it has been condemned. And we were told by city staff that that will come before this commission. The other thing that should be urged before this commission is what happened yesterday at the district at West Market, where over 200 residents were displaced. And that is also condemned, which should also be coming before this commission. I may not be serving currently with you up there, but I want to remind everybody of your why you do it, why you come here, and I'm grateful for this next opportunity because the city gave me my new why. And I'm thankful for them helping me realize what my new why is. So I want to urge all of you to remember what you are here to do, to serve the city, to serve the residents, to make sure that there's safe, fair, affordable housing, and to make sure that we are the compliance piece for the city so that they do have that fair shake. Because there's a lot of residents that feel the complete opposite. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. Proceeding to item number 8. 801 East Bragg Street. Case number 23-000183, parcel number 4967. Wilbur Ernesto Pennant, owner. Proceed, Zeph.
For 801 East Bragg Street, this case was opened in 2023. The end of 2023. The initial inspection shows as February 22nd, 2024. There was an inspector's hearing on March 28th, 2024. An order to repair or demolish was issued on April 3rd, 2024, expired in May of 24. Due to the timing and everything, the estimated cost to repair is $76,769, which is 60% of the tax value. Elantra Masters is the inspector for this case. She's here today. The video playing is from the video that her and her supervisor did the other day. We had good service on both the notice of hearing, all the letters that were sent out, including today's hearing. First class and certified mail, we published them as well. And I'll let Elantra explain a little bit more about the property itself and what you're seeing.
I'm going to introduce some of the testimony. Christy, thank you. Christy, I know you did confirm already the service of the notices. Inspector, just to confirm, are you the one who inspected the property and documented the violations?
No,
where you were present with when the video that's been shown was taken, correct? And that accurately depicts the conditions on the property when it was inspected while you were out there, correct?
Correct.
And was that at the most recent visit to the property? So this is reflective of the conditions last you would have been out there. And how many documented violations were there? And if you can go through the list as you do that, please. I'm sorry.
There was a total of 8 violations on the interior. As you can see in the video, they have been corrected. The interior, we have a missing drywall, plumbing fixtures. There's no heating, HVAC system, and no water.
Okay. And just to be clear, were you saying that those violations on the interior of the building continue to exist? Those violations still exist, the ones on the interior? I think you said some have been
Yes,
fixed, but the ones on the interior. Thank you. Thank you, Inspector. Just a couple more questions for Ms. Holt, actually. Christy, at this point, what would the proposed value of the property be? And can you tell us what's that estimated on?
So the difference in order to repair versus in order to demolish is really just numbers. If it's over 50% cost, then it turns into an order to demolish. If it's under 50% of the tax value, then it's an order to repair. This case has gone on a long time. The owner recently did get some permits, as you can see some signs of progress. That was in the month of November. This case has been open since February, or since 2023. So this, bringing it to the commission, was the next step. We're hoping that by having an ordinance on the property that the owner will finally get this to a habitable property where it'd be safe, affordable housing. Again, the repairs were fairly recent. The exterior you saw in the video is, for the most part, repaired. I think everything in there now has to do with the interior. The owner has been communicative here recently, just in the last month, pretty much right after we put it on the agenda, to do the repairs. But again, it's been since 2023. So this was our we did the inspector's hearing, we did the order to repair. We have been doing civil penalties for well over a year now, and this is where we're at. It's still an unfinished house and just recent activity as far as permitted activity.
Commissioners, I'd invite follow-up questions for any of the staff you'd have questions for as well.
I have a question here. So it's saying that it needs new plumbing system. It looks fresh, PEX and piping, new drainage in there. It looks like there's work is being done. They're saying new permits are there. So the house just looks under construction. Maybe not under the timeline that we request that. Is something else caused a reason that we're getting involved on this project? other than timeline?
At the time the agenda it was put on the agenda, we hadn't heard from the owner, and we were just trying to get some activity to get them to finally get the house into a habitable condition. It had been sitting in this was our next step, was bringing it before the commission.
If I may add, I was out there with Inspector Elantra, and I also spoke with the owner prior to doing the re-inspection with her. And we advised him that it would go before the Housing Commission. He stated the reason he stopped working is because he had other projects. So we had to move it forward. He couldn't just sit there with those violations.
And do we have any idea as to when he pulled his most recent permit and how recent it has been since he's worked on it?
November 17th sticks out. Let me, I can confirm very quickly.
The electrical permit was pulled in October, middle of October. The mechanical permit was pulled middle of November, and the plumbing permit was pulled middle of November.
Okay.
Understand, please, too, that vacant houses like this also attract people in the neighborhood to enter the vacant houses and stuff like that. So we try to push them to get it done to prevent that.
Just a question, do we feel that providing this notice of repair, would that encourage him to complete the project in a more timely manner?
That tends to happen.
Was there a discussion or dialogue that took place between the person that's doing this, that's undertaking this project, as it relates to a timeline from present to completion, or no?
No, not at the time. When I spoke with the owner, he said he was going to get it done, but he didn't give me a timeline that he would have the work completed. I also spoke with his dad as well, and I advised him about the meeting also, so they didn't give any timelines.
Was that an actual inquiry that you made, asking about what sort of timeline?
Yes, sir. I did speak with them directly, the owner and the father. Actually, I spoke with the owner through the father, which was supposed to call me back. Never heard back from him as of today.
And Mr. Hawkins, if I may just momentarily to interject, of course, I would note that the owner has not appeared today. They've chosen to not appear today. So.
Noted.
And for clarification, it's 90 days before we can actually.
Yeah, just for the record, if even whatever y'all's decision is your decision, if it is an ordinance, we cannot do anything, repair or otherwise, for at least 90 days. So, I did, full disclosure, when we posted the notice at the house, the owner or his father, I can't remember which one, called the office, and he said, I asked him that specific question, like how, because I explained to him that this has been going on for a long time, and he stated that it would probably be about 60 days. So I did reiterate what Mr. Covington just said as far as the meeting today, and this is part of our process, and he didn't have any questions. So.
Okay, so with regard to 801 East Bragg Street, is there a motion? Indeed.
What I'm saying is, I think that if we go, with the recommendation came out, if he's really as close as he says he is, and also not here, then he should be able to finish it with the days. He's really close to the investment. In my opinion, even if it does inside, and then take on to put a drywall, when we're working, to put up a drywall.
Commissioner, I apologize, but
I'm
I think we're
sorry.
unable to hear you.
It's okay, sorry. I was saying, that even if we did uphold the request to demolish, he gets 90 days, and with as close as it appears, even to the studs, it doesn't take 90 days to put up drywall. So if he was serious about making the repairs that he says he's going to, then he should be able to do it within the 90 days that's allotted, even if we agree. It's just a hard decision for me because it looks so close to being done.
A couple of questions to city staff with regard to this particular parcel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard something along the lines of HVAC and plumbing still a factor. Have those been addressed, or are they still question marks?
But it's still that
There's currently no HVAC system or plumbing.
None installed or none functional?
None is installed.
Excuse me, Christian Home. This is more so, as a favor than your wheelhouse since you're a realtor.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Forgive me. So, going to call on Commissioner Pone, since this is more within her wheelhouse specifically as a realtor, certified, and all of those things. So, what sort of time frame, based on what experiences you have, would conclude or complete the installation of a functional HVAC system as well as plumbing? Does that warrant or necessarily require 90 days? Is that something that can be done well within that period of time?
Very much so. All of it. The entire house.
Oh,
I have a question for clarification. On my sheet it's saying request an ordinance repair, and on this sheet it says request an order to demolish.
So when I did the agenda, I didn't have the fact sheet, and so yes, the inspector's fact sheet shows an ordinance to demolish, just for the simple part about the numbers for the cost.
Right, so based on that, the numbers with what we're seeing in the video here, he's made electrical improvements, plumbing improvements, so that could drop the values below that 50% mark, but we'll still today we'll be talking about order to demolish.
it would actually negate it because going below 50%. Means that everything to add to which to install HVAC, functional HVAC unit as well as plumbing. Would warrant a significant.
And unless the rules have changed, North Carolina requires heat only at that point, so we're talking about mechanical systems versus full HVAC system versus heat only. Again, I think we can look at these numbers and say that because we're so close to that value, that we'd be underneath that 50%, that would be required in order for demolish. That they're saying that if we look at the numbers and remove out items that have already been repaired from this video, it would get the actual estimated cost for repairs below 50%. So it would take it out of the order to demolish category.
Very much so.
I would stand with that, Commissioner McCaskill, that assessment. Commissioner Savoy?
no reason to demolish as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, are we ready to proceed? Make a motion. All right, well, I need a motion. The alternative is to repair the defect. Motion to repair. What is this? Which actually, is what's on the agenda from.
Yeah, it is mixed with the repair, auditor, and varnish, so all of this on the
Okay, so what we're, based on the discussion that we have had amongst commissioners, coupled with what we have viewed on video, as well as the information provided by city staff, what the expectation is at this point is the requesting of an ordinance to repair. Brent, is there something you wish to say?
Mr. Hawkins, no, I was just going to say, based on what I'm seeing from staff, I believe everyone is on the same page about that. Yes, sir.
Very well. So is there a motion on the floor? I need a motion on the floor.
I motion that we, is it changed or is it, that's why I'm confused now, so.
Be sure your microphone's on.
Yeah, I'm confused now. I would like to make a motion was it from the agenda or what?
Based on what's on the agenda, it's an ordinance to repair, so the motion would be to repair.
Yes, so yes, I would like to make a motion to repair property 801 East Bragg Street.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, that motion has been declared by Commissioner Jones and seconded by Commissioner McCaskill. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any opposed? That passes unanimously. All right. Number 9 is already in compliance, so that clears what is listed as the agenda from city staff. City staff, do you have
Mr.
anything?
Hawkins, I apologize. I think we may have skipped one step on the last item there.
All right, you're slipping. No, I'm joking. I'm totally joking. Sorry. Proceed.
Do you, Commissioner Hawkins, do you have the findings of fact?
I do. I need to read that. So, findings of fact in order. The property involved in this matter is located at 801 East Bragg Street. The property owner and all parties in interest in said property have been properly served with all complaints, notices, or orders issued in this matter in compliance with the law. The property owner and all parties in interest were afforded their due process rights in compliance with the law. The property in question has more than 5 separate types of violations of any of the minimum housing code standards, and the cost to repair said violations is less than 50% of the value of the structure. The continuation of the dwelling in its current condition is detrimental to the health, safety, morals, and welfare of the people within the city of Greensboro and is unfit for human habitation. Based upon the foregoing findings of fact, it is hereby concluded that 1, this matter is properly before this commission. 2, the described structure is dangerous and unfit for human habitation. 3, the order of the inspector is proper in all its respects. Therefore, it is ordered, resolved, and decreed by a vote of this commission that the inspector's order to repair is upheld this the 17th day of December 2025. And that concludes our hearings for all cases listed on the agenda. Is that correct? City staff,
Yes, that is correct.
is there any additional or further input that city staff has for this meeting?
The one, at the last meeting, we were discussing the dates for the 2026 meetings, which were also on the third Wednesday of every month. I think there was a vote about changing the time from 1:30 to 5:30. And there was some correction, there should have been a correction to the minutes about who said yes and who said no. I believe some names were mixed up and we'll get that corrected. But I was able to confirm that the chambers are available at 5:30 on the third Wednesday of every month. I didn't know if you all wanted to, since there was some confusion with the vote, if you all wanted to revisit that vote.
Well, as it stands, that, if memory serves, it was a question of one person's position, but that one person's position, is that the one that was changed?
I changed at the end to a nay.
Okay,
Yeah, did not want to change the time.
okay. And the vote at that time was,
But it was based, I think the vote was 5:30, it was based on availability, yes.
okay, so the number of commissioners who voted for.
It was 5-2.
Okay,
Unless the name that was on there inadvertently also actually did vote for that time. I mean, it still would have been for the yay, but it could potentially have been 3 no.
and in so doing would not negate the majority vote.
Mr. Hawkins, for clarity's sake, my recollection, and I believe this would be consistent, was there was a 5-2 vote in the end, with the one vote having been changed. It landed at 5-2 after that vote would have changed.
We'll put it to 4-3. Wait a minute.
It was, what, 5-2? No, it was 6-1 at first, and then I changed, and it made it 5-2. However,
That's still the majority
Right.
vote. So it doesn't change, it only changed the numbers of the votes as opposed to changing the outcome of the vote. It would still be the majority falling on favoring the change to 5:30 on the third Wednesday of every month. So, other questions with regard to that?
I guess
Commissioners? Questions?
When would that begin?
Say again?
When would that begin?
January. The first meeting in January, the first third Wednesday of January. The first third Wednesday. The third Wednesday of January 2026 is when that goes into effect. All meetings therefrom, including that one, would be 5:30 every third Wednesday. Question, Commissioner Furlow.
So, do we have members who have irreconcilable conflicts?
I mean, they could probably be reconciled. It's just my availability is better during the day for me personally, but just one vote, so.
And who was the other one?
This time worked very well, and that's why I was opposed to changing the time, and also holding the staff up to 5:30 on Wednesdays for additional day for these matters that seem to go relatively fast.
I mean, I know you can't make ongoing rules for a body based on people who are, happen to be there at the moment. But was the reason for making the change, and I know Chairman Scott had proposed this, was the reason for making the change to make it more accessible for other people?
There were multiple reasons for the change. One was indeed for residents to have the ability and the option and opportunity to attend our meetings, which at this hour of the day is highly unlikely for many who are, no offense, 9-to-5ers.
They have jobs.
Or other, whatever the case may be. That was one reason. Another reason was the rationale behind it, which was, well, if all the other quasi-judicial boards meet post 5 hours, why is this one during an outside realm of time? Then there were a couple of other secondary reasons. Now, I can't speak to every person here in attendance, but I sided with Chair Scott and still am on the side of that vote as it was then. Questions? Remarks? Staff? I have a question. Remember the part where I said questions?
Yeah. Okay, good afternoon. My question is relative to the absence of Chair Scott amongst us here today. I think we need to be informed. I don't know why he's not among us here. So he's in the room. He's not here. He was up there to speak as a visitor. But as commissioners, we want to be somehow brought up to speed. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones? Okay, excellent. Great point to bring forth. Seeing as how we are a commission that is appointed by council and are serving in this capacity on a voluntary basis, and we serve as one collective group or team or body or entity, I think it prudent that all members of said body should be made aware of such information, even if and when it changes on the fly. Because a failure or a decision not to do so has the ability to adversely affect the functionality and credibility of this body. That being said, I'm going to put forth a motion that going forward, whenever, if ever, any or all such things take place, that the entirety of the commission, including alternates, be made aware of such information. Is that something that's within the purview of city staff, specifically the city attorney's office?
Mr. Hawkins, if I'm understanding the intent of that motion, that sounds like something that would be beyond the purview of this body. You're referencing, well, I'm not sure exactly when you are looking to be brought in the loop, but the matter of appointments and removals is a matter for city council. And of course, everyone is individually appointed. So perhaps I'm not tracking the intent of this proposed motion, but it sounds like something that would be outside the purview.
I see. So since you are, I'm going to paraphrase, put it unclear, its purpose is to provide information to, with, and for this body when it comes to this body, regarding this body. What has been seen and sometimes demonstrated is that the lack of information and transparency that takes place has the ability to adversely offset what takes place within the functionality of a group. To come in and be absolutely unprepared or unaware of such a thing, I think can be approved upon simply because it does not take place presently or has not taken place in the past. I don't think should be something to stand on, be proud of, or keep it business as usual or the status quo. There's already enough of that, in my opinion, that transpires that has the ability to offset what takes place when it comes to our residents. And at the end of the day, this affects our residents. This is for our residents. And, well, we are those residents. Are you clear now?
I think it affirmed the direction I thought you were looking to go. Again, matters of appointment and removal are for city council, so what I'm understanding the intent of any motion to be, I would advise, is outside the purview of this board. There may be some nuance that I'm still not quite catching, Mr. Hawkins, and I apologize if so. Just in case, you certainly feel free to email me. I'm glad to try to, connect up the dots if I'm missing something. But again, appointments, removals, that's the purview of council.
Dive right along.
So I guess just
Commissioner Jones.
the appointments and the removals for the city council, with respects, I understand that that's their role. I guess just the information flowing to us. Earlier this morning, I have 4 emails from 4 different news outlets asking me specifically about Scott before I even knew anything about it. I do have a little baby on the way, so that's kind of keeping my time away from watching the city council / soap opera that we have in Greensboro. But I guess just for us, so we don't just walk into the blind of said social media, PR person type of things that I don't deal with on a daily basis, just a little, hey, there's been a change up, a small email. I know you guys are, inundated with a lot of stuff, but just so I know how to conduct myself and move in the proper manner rather than just kind of letting other people tell me what's going on. I would kind of prefer to hear it from city staff or some type of matriculation of information so that I can be prepared to do it. Yeah, that goes to the delete file. This one stays. I guess that's my purview of it personally, and I guess I didn't get to see the full city council meeting, so I don't know the removal of why, or, of course it was last night, but why or what happened to lead up to that. I would like to know that procedure so that we can kind of stay in the balance of what's, what you guys or what we have signed up to do. It's very important for me to know, okay, this is what's allowed, this is what's not allowed. And if there is a time in which I do something that's not allowed, I know the ramifications for that, right? So if there's a warning or some, again, I'm very ignorant to the actual existence of Mr. Scott's removal, but I would like some more information. I know that's not like all happening right here, right now. Again, the number one thing for me is to kind of be knowledgeable so that I can, know how to maneuver in my everyday life.
Okay, before you go any further, I realized, and it's been brought to my attention that we've gone off on a tangent. So before that goes any further, I'll rescind that motion for the moment. But what we now segue into is what once was commissioner discussion / reflection. And I say what once was because after reviewing the agenda, I've noticed that it no longer states commissioner discussion / reflection. It states items from the Minimum Housing Standards Commission members. Now, ironically enough, moments ago, Brent, excuse me. Representatives of the city attorney's office spoke about the once was of a thing and the changing and the like. And this, it appears, is that very thing, a changing of something that has been in place for quite a good deal of time into something that's new and unseen. So it demonstrates that change is not only possible, but plausible. So is that pick and choose across the board or other?
So I will, in reference to that specific item, I will say that I know there's been some comparisons to other quasi-judicial boards, and that is more in line with what the agendas on those quasi-judicial boards look like. This is a business meeting, so just if there's any items, I'll take responsibility for that. But the background is that there were some references about quasi-judicial boards, and that this is wording that's similar to those agendas as well.
I see. So for the sake of clarity, either the majority of or now all of the quasi-judicial boards reflect that verbiage on their agendas? Is that what I'm hearing?
I know that the Planning and Zoning Commission does. I did not. That is the one I reviewed. So.
Okay, so that transition or change is based on the review of just one quasi-judicial board?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. I would ask that that information be reviewed across the board for all quasi-judicial boards. That way there's some balance or equilibrium that's established. If the goal truly is to be verbiage specific across the board, then let's certainly endeavor to do that, be that, if not become that across the board, as opposed to, well, no slight and no offense there, just as an ask / request. So to be clear, we are now in that period, yes? Excellent. Commissioner Jones, proceed. I stopped you on a dime. Kick in.
Yes, so that was really all I wanted to, kind of bring up in today's meeting, because as soon as I opened up my email this morning, asking for to speak or to have some type of comment portion on a news article. I haven't even received any information from the City of Greensboro staff regarding this matter. So again, just pointing to my earlier comments, if there's a dismissal or removal or however that works, just a little heads up so that we don't get caught in a storm, media storm of whatever that may be.
And to that end, if memory serves, a remark was made by City Attorney's Office during one of our meetings, which indicated that they are the client of City Council. And since we fall under City Council, that puts us under that same protection, would it not?
I
believe that's exactly what was said, Commissioner Hawkins. I believe the city attorney herself said that the city council is her client,
Yes.
but that the other members of the city attorney's staff respond to the various boards and commissions that they work with. Am I wrong about that?
Commissioner Furlow, without the benefit of being there, I can't say the precise language, but I mean, you have the right of it, right? I mean, members of the office like myself show up to support the work of the commissions, of course. Ultimately, city council is at the core of the city, right? It is the client. But yes, we show up to support the commissions.
So this is not as a means to dictate what flows down to us from council, as it were, as a whole, but specifically those things that directly impact or affect the functionality of this commission, the integrity, credibility of this commission, as well as its knowledge of information. When it comes to this commission, I would see that as a priority.
I think I understand you, Mr. Hawkins. I certainly can't speak for staff more broadly, but I think that is heard, and I'm glad to do any follow up on anything that can be responsive to that request.
Please, thank you.
But again, for today's purposes, I don't know that I can really say much more than that.
Yeah, to come back. The reason I asked my question is that we may come back here on what is the next meeting date?
The next meeting date is
January 21st, and then Ms. Chair Hawkins is gone, and then another meeting, myself I'm gone. Then one by one, without knowing what is going on, at least the person involved or the person concerned might know, but the rest of us, no, we don't know anything. So I'm going to ask the attorney's office. You said that this is beyond this commission's purview, etc. But I think we would like to send this message or give you this message to the council that we would have preferred somehow to be informed in some kind of way about what happened, because we are not comfortable sitting here missing one of ours, and we are not sure who is going to be missing tomorrow, then the day after tomorrow, then after that. I don't think anybody will say, okay, it is okay. Everybody sitting in this room, anybody in this situation, I think my questions are questions of somebody with good sense, just like everybody in the room has a good sense. So I think everybody sitting here will have the same reaction. So I would like for you to understand that, and my ask is that we would want the city to take into consideration that even though we are appointed by them, and we are appointed by them so that we can help them, we can help the city serve our community. And so the way this is done, it is like, okay, just come and do what you are told and go home. I don't think that is the right approach or the right way to treat us. I don't think so. Thank you.
Commissioner Furlow.
I would like to say that I would not have handled the meetings the way Chairman Scott did. I wouldn't. Having said that, I did not see anything that Chairman Scott did that warranted his removal from this council. I'm sorry mayor has left, but I hope that will go back to her. But I think, let's not let the tail wag the dog here. Commissioners will come and go, and city council members will come and go, and mayors will come and go, and staff will come and go. But this problem of people living in substandard housing will not come and go. It will remain. I think what we saw at the November City Council meeting from the tenants who testified, there are people in our city who want and need the protection of the city so that they don't have to live in substandard housing. And I would just urge the mayor and the city council to review the commission, the charter of this body, and the practices of the city and the staff, and say, how can we make this body effective? How can we give this commission the authorities that it needs to do something that actually does affect minimum housing standards? We do very little that changes the standard of housing for any individual. I just think that we need to be used to play an important role in helping the city protect residents who need it from the minority of property owners and landlords who are willing to be abusive and squeeze tenants out. Make us have some meaningful role. That's what I would say.
Commissioner Pone? Commissioner Savoy?
Just a question. I'm a little confused. So what you're asking that we get that information immediately? Like I watched the city council meeting last night, and I found out Mary Kay spoken. I don't know the details. She said this is the second incident. If that's what she says, that's what she says. You agree or disagree, but you're asking that we get this information immediately, whether it's an email, phone call, or text?
So my direct ask would be an email. It doesn't have to be teletype the second that it's formally announced. However, if it is indeed something that has the ability to impact this commission, you know what? The following business day, and just to be a play nice kind of person, by noon, the following business day.
Which would that be?
So, which would have been today, which would have still been before today's meeting.
Right.
And especially when, if and since, come January, our meetings will begin at 5:30.
It worked out even better then.
This is not about trying to assert, usurp, or control anything. This is about being prepared. Now, everyone in this room, presumably at some point in time over the course of their life, has worked, has had some level or degree of meaningful employment, and in such, you get that based on your history of performance at other jobs, but then in that job, the expectation is for you to carry that out. And you carry that out to the best of, the expectation is to carry that out to the best of one's ability based on the information in hand. Your knowledge base, your skill set, and the like. Well, something like this can potentially upset one's knowledge base without knowing it or being caught unawares the following morning. Oh, by the way, this news source is asking, in addition to others, what are your thoughts on this outcome? What outcome? Does that make sense?
Makes plenty of sense, Mr. Hawkins. Again, on the general level of the concern, glad to do any follow-up I can with staff. If there is a precise request or anything, sort of in the spirit of what I offered up last meeting, I would invite you to send me an email so we can have some clarity and communication that way, and it may be more efficient than trying to tack it on to the tail end of the meeting.
Very well. That being said, I do have a question that is going to go directly to city staff. Being as how this is a quasi-judicial board, now I've served on another commission prior to. Does this commission have the ability to craft and present resolutions that are specifically put together to go to council?
You're asking essentially for recommendations to be made in the form of a resolution.
No, I'm asking you, does this particular commission have the ability to craft resolutions as do other commissions and boards? I know to a certainty that there are some commissions and boards who not only have the ability to craft resolutions, but do craft them and present them to council, or they get handed off to council. My question to you in the form of yes or no as a response would be, does this commission have that ability to craft a formal resolution that then goes to council?
I'm not sure what within this board's purview would fall under that. So my answer is no. If you have examples of other boards, I'd be glad to review them again. I'd invite you to
The
email
Human
me.
Relations, formerly the Human Relations Commission, which is now the Human Rights Commission. Presently, the Greensboro Criminal Justice Advisory Commission, upon which I also serve, we have the ability to craft resolutions and have them presented to council as well. So again, clearly, there are instances and cases. Bear with me a moment. Because what I want to do here is to reasonably reason, as opposed to these actions and these remarks be perceived or misconstrued in any other manner. It is not our want nor desire to be or appear to be combative or adversarial. However, no, not however, because that negates the previous statement, so I'll just say that and put a period on that. So, to know if this commission has the ability to craft such resolutions with its intent to be presented to council.
Glad to look into it further.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
Forgive me for cutting you off. Proceed.
No, glad to look into it further. My immediate reaction would be no, but again, better understanding what the goal may be in an individual situation may also help me better advise what tools may be available. So I'd invite any follow-up you'd like via email, but glad to look into the nuance of it for you, sir.
Okay, to that end, goal. It rolls right along to the remarks as well as concerns stated by Commissioner Ricci a few moments ago. To give it some degree of context, a stronger degree of context.
I appreciate that clarity being provided. Again, my answer in this moment would be no. I don't see how you adopt something that is responsive to that. I think that the underpinning concerns that have been voiced have been heard. We're glad to take a look at them in that spirit. Again, if you have more specific requests, I would readily say, please email me. Glad to. I think it offers a greater chance of efficiency in conversation than trying to hammer this out in this moment.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Commissioners, are there additional remarks from Commissioner McCaskill? You look like you're...
Yes, I just want to call, do we vote again on the 5:30 time? Is that clear? Or do we,
No.
is that as it stands, it sits at 5:30 for the remainder of 2026?
The third Wednesday of every month going forward, effective third Wednesday of January 21st, here in council chambers.
For the lawyer's component of it, Mr. Hawkins, I will just add in that, did take a look after the meeting just to make sure there were no concerns about the nature of that vote. It did land 5-2 once there was a change in the vote. Again, y'all took that vote, and absent some, move to reconsider it, there it is.
Anything further, Commissioner McCaskill?
Good.
Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Savoy?
I'm fine, I'm good.
Commissioner Isifu? Bear with me a moment. I just need to gather my thoughts. Yes. Since such is the case, all that would do is, we can still, that would negate a quorum, so proceed.
Great holiday for everyone who's here. I have a doctor's appointment. I need to have to leave and interrupt the meeting.
Well, folks, if I may, Commissioner Redbone, and I heard Mr. Jones at one point, I think maybe throw out the idea of a motion to adjourn. I think we are pretty well done with the business of the board. Personally, I don't mind staying for a little bit longer. Of course, our last meeting did turn into a significantly long meeting in which we basically distilled it down to just send me an email. We all on staff want to be able to go about doing the rest of the business in the city, of course. I'm here, I can only speak for myself, but folks may need to depart to carry on their work.
Well, if it hinges on those of staff who are in position to leave and are able, by all means. This isn't a holdover or a hold off. This is a dialogue on matters most dire. However, it doesn't require those who are city staff members who are not needed, terminology there, but those who are not needed don't need to be a part of this. That doesn't need to hold up their day or their duties.
Understood, sir. I will just note for full transparency here as well. I mean, we do also, of course, have a court reporter who joins us for the duration of the meetings, right? The reason we would have a court reporter is because this is a quasi-judicial body. Once we've done the quasi-judicial business of the board, purpose for her being here is also ratcheted down a little bit. I'm just trying to invite, again, if there are matters to be discussed on an administrative level or something, email is always a wonderful way to do it.
That's also a request that we made for information to be handed out via email. Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't that happen? That was us, right? So is that plausible or no? And while typically it's
At
not
some point, we're not doing the business of the board anymore, sir. I mean, respectfully.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said at some point, we're not doing the business of the board anymore.
Ah, I see.
I mean, I'm inviting you to email me if there are certain administrative questions. I'm glad to hear any remaining comment you have, but I'm just letting you know, right? There are the staff members here who, again, will need to leave to be able to go back to their work. And I also will need to at some point, sir.
I motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Are you finished? You guys, look like you're about to make some additional remarks, so I didn't want to speak more about it, you had anything, so.
I can't hear you.
Please say exactly what you said.
I didn't mean to speed you up. I thought we were closing out with the remarks. But if you have additional remarks, again, we've only technically been in this meeting for about an hour, so hours can change. But it's again, if there's information that you would like to speak on, we don't have to be rushed or feel like your comments are less significant. We can continue the work of the board.
You're the chair, Mr. Hawkins. I know there is a motion on the floor. I don't know if there's a second, but beyond that,
I have learned that discretion is the better part of valor. And for that piece of information, there are some who should thank their lucky stars. As it relates to information, thank you, Brent. Is there a second?
Second is motion to address. Yes. Second.
All who agree?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I suppose. Omar Jones.
Commissioner Jones?
does that final vote count 4-2, gentlemen? I'm trying to make sure I track that correctly.
You are correct.
Thank you, sir.
This isn't a rush. I'm not being rushed. This is an exercise like this before I say something that I won't take back. Meeting adjourned.